Hey there, Junior Roses! Welcome back to the YouTube! In today's video, we're going to be looking at how long you would survive without specific organs. Have you ever wondered how long you would survive without a nose or an anus? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be looking at in today's video. Yeah, it's going to be weird. We're going to start with the most important organs to lose and finish with the ones that I didn't realize you could live so long without. So anyway, before we start, guys, I just want to point this out. For all of you fantastic people who watch my videos, there's a massive 74.3% of you not subscribed. Well, that needs to bloody change. So if you watch my videos and you enjoy them, and I hope you do, then please do subscribe. It really helps me out. Thank you so much. Okay, so the first one, no organs. So this is just every organ in the body. If you didn't have any, you would survive 0 seconds. Without any organs, our bodies would not be bodies. So we would not be alive. Simple as that. 30 seconds without skin. The human body without skin causes loss of fluid, hypothermia, and infections. Yeah, also without skin, surely you would just bleed and it would just... You also wouldn't be a body, would you? Maybe it would just like reveal all the muscle. Oh, it'd be horrible. You would only survive 1 minute without blood vessels. Without blood vessels, the heart fails as no oxygen is supplied to the body. Yeah, that's true. No blood would be able to get around the body. God damn. It's watching videos like this that really make me think how amazing the body is. It's crazy. You'll survive only 3 minutes without the trachea. The trachea is a key part of our airways that carry oxygen to the lungs. I think it's like there. So like when you breathe in, oxygen travels through the trachea. So yeah, probably quite important. Also only 3 minutes without the larynx. Without a larynx, air cannot pass from your lungs into the mouth. You would survive only 4 minutes without the diaphragm. All mammals have a diaphragm. No mammal can survive without one. The diaphragm, isn't that just like the upper bit of the body? Pretty sure it's like not your tits. No, that's something different. You would survive only 5 minutes without both lungs. Oh my god, humans can live without one lung, but not both, as a lack of oxygen kills the brain. Well, there you go. I would have thought 5 minutes. That seems like quite a long time, to be fair. So you're telling me you could go for 5 minutes without oxygen? Quite a long time. You would also survive for 5 minutes without a spinal cord. Without a spinal cord, we cannot move the muscles that make us breathe. Wow, I didn't realize that was so important. I mean, not that I've ever seen anyone without a spine, but I assume we could go without one just because we could. I suppose you'd look like a pile of jelly on the floor. You could survive for 6 minutes without a brain. Without a brain, humans cannot form the most basic functions like breathing. Whoa, I didn't know it's a whole 6 minutes. I thought you'd just die instantly. Make sure you stick around to the end, guys, to see which organs you can actually survive without. It really surprised me. You can survive 7 minutes without bronchi. Bronchi are key to the respiratory system, without which we cannot breathe. I think bronchi are in the lungs. Survival 8 minutes without bones. Without bones, our bodies have no structure and therefore could not function. Oh my god, without bones, yeah. We'd look like that episode of Family Guy where Peter Griffin has no bones. He's just a pile of jelly on the floor. We can survive for a whole 10 minutes without a heart. What? If your heart stops beating, no blood is pumped around the body, killing your cells. Yeah, well, I understand that it would kill you, but 10 minutes? Should we put that to the test? In my next video, I'm going to surgically remove my heart. You would survive 12 minutes without skeletal muscle. Our muscles wouldn't be able to move and our heart would stop beating. Oh my god, so skeletal muscle, that's like muscle that is specifically around the skeleton, around like attached to the bones and stuff. I think like the smaller ones. You would survive a whole day without the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland regulates our hormones, which are essential to all body systems. You'd also survive a whole day without the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is responsible for maintaining your body's internal balance. You would survive a whole 2 days without the adrenal gland. Like kidneys, at least one adrenal gland is needed to survive. God damn. This next one's saying 2 days, like it's different to 48 hours. But you would survive 2 days without the liver. The liver is the largest solid organ in the body and helps digesting food. I did not know that. I knew what the liver was for, but I didn't know how long you could survive without it. 2 days is insane. You could survive 3 days without the mouth. Without mouths, humans cannot eat, drink, or get any nutrients to survive. Oh my god. Unless you, like, got food another way and like maybe you had like a tube going directly to your stomach. Imagine if you didn't have a mouth. That would be a horrible way to live, wouldn't it? Because you breathe through your nostrils, obviously, but then, oh god, that would be horrible. You could survive a whole week without the mesentery. The mesentery holds the intestines in place, without which intestines collapse. That wouldn't be very nice. You would survive a whole 2 weeks without both kidneys. Without both kidneys, the body fills with a fatal amount of waste products. Oh my god, yeah, because the kidneys basically filter the waste products from your blood and turn it into urine. So you would become a walking toxic mess. How long do you reckon you would survive without the anus, guys? Well, if you said 3 weeks, you were right. Imperforate anus is a rare condition where humans are born without an anus. Oh my god. And they survive for 3 weeks. before they explode with shit. Oh my god, that would be so bad. That would be such a bad way to go. Imagine really needing to go for a poo, but you physically can't. Surely there's like some sort of surgery they could have. You could also survive 3 weeks without a rectum. The rectum connects the colon to the anus, without which we cannot excrete. You'd also survive 3 weeks without a uterus. Without the uterus, urine cannot pass from the kidneys to the bladder. Again, so you just explode with piss. God damn. This is a really interesting but grim video. Okay, interesting. You could survive, though, a whole 2 months without the thyroid. The thyroid controls essential hormones for cells to function in the body. I wonder why it takes 2 months. Maybe it just takes a couple months before the body becomes unbalanced, I guess, with your hormones. You could survive a whole 3 years without bone marrow. Without bone marrow, the body cannot produce white blood cells to fight infection. There you go. That's what bone marrow does. Produces white blood cells. It would take a whole 3 years. God, yeah. If you knew that you had no bone marrow, right, and somebody walked past you with a cold, you'd be like, stay back. That will kill me. You can survive a whole 4 years without a bladder. There are many ways urine can be stored and expelled after bladder removal. Interesting. So it's interesting that you would die at all then, if that's the case. Why would it take 4 years for you to die? So you were telling me as well that we actually piss out urine through our sweat glands when we sweat. That's crazy. It would take 4.3 years to die without a small intestine. Without the small intestine, the body cannot get enough nutrients from food to live. Why 4.3 years? Surely there must be other ways the body can get its nutrients then if it's 4.3 years. I don't know. It would take 4.7 years to die without the urethra. As with the bladder, the urethra is needed to urinate properly. Oh, God. You can survive a whole 5 years without the stomach. People can have their whole stomach removed to prevent cancer and live. How can you survive without a stomach? Surely that's like where your body breaks down all the food. I don't know. I'm not going to put it to the test, guys. You can survive a whole 6 years without the pancreas. Decades ago, serious issues with the pancreas were almost always fatal. Wow. 7 years without the spleen. You can survive without a spleen as the liver can take over many of its functions. You can survive 10 years without the esophagus. Without the esophagus, it is much harder to transport food to your stomach. So the esophagus is literally the tube that goes from here down into your stomach. How would you survive 10 years without that, though? Unless you'd have to have some sort of surgery, surely, to put a new tube in. Okay, guys, we're making it into the crazy ones now. You could survive a whole 50 years without ovaries. Removing a woman's ovaries can increase the chance of cancer and heart disease. But I suppose you're just removing the reproductive organs at the end of the day, so it's not really essential to survival. This I thought would be essential to survival, though. The large intestines, 55 years you can survive without them. You can live without your large intestine, although digestion is more difficult. This is an interesting one because people get these removed all the time. Tonsils, 60 years. New studies suggest that tonsillectomies may have long-term health risks. Interesting. I think that's why they take so long to remove them. I've had tonsillitis once and it was horrible. I had white things at the back of my throat, and they won't remove them unless you've had it so many times within a month, and maybe that's why. You can survive a whole 65 years without your nose. Did you know arynia is a very rare condition where you are born without a nose? Oh my God, that's crazy. Okay, guys, we've made it to the last 3 now, and all of them you could survive a whole lifetime on, and this really surprised me. So a uterus. Without a uterus, women cannot give birth, but this is not necessary for survival. There you go. 1 kidney. Many people live with 1 kidney, but increases the risk of high blood pressure. And finally, 1 lung. Did you know Pope Francis has lived without a lung since he was a teenager? That honestly sounds so horrible. I mean, I know he was probably used to it, but god damn. 1 lung. Does that mean you could only take, if you have 1 lung, does that mean you could only take in a half breath? So when you take a deep breath, you go, could you not take a deep breath? God, it'd just be horrible, wouldn't it? Right, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. It's a bit of a shorter one than what we're used to, but I thought it would be interesting. I thought it was. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see in the next video. And before you go, please don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out. Thank you so much. Take it easy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!